Forever. Dog.
Welcome to the Rear View. This week we are discussing our two favorite aunties going head-to-head in versus the Wild Wildfire West Coast and the Turf Who Lived. But first, let's go over listener opinions on the queer legacy question from last week. If we had to submit an entry to the canon, what film is the best queer film of all time?
Girl, I thought he was mooning us.
Hey, repping Serena, Venus, and Selena. At Markini47 says, "Call Me by Your Name is my personal fave, but Moonlight did win Best Picture."
All right.
Touche.
At Tony Pray 6 says Jennifer's body will forever be that girl. And for all of our sapphic listeners, yes, you are so right. Jennifer's body doesn't get enough credit, and that's because people disrespect any sort of sexualization and kind of freedom given to women. It's campy, it's scary.
It was a movie.
We also don't talk about the fact that, like, I'm trying to think. So whenever we were in that era, was there anything close to Jennifer's body that was kind of like subversive like that besides that movie?
What is the movie?
Oh, Megan Fox is a demon, like a succubus.
I will say Diablo Cody wrote the movie. She's writing Madonna's biopic. It's queer canon.
Wait a second.
Period,
I thought Madonna was writing Madonna's
No, she's
biopic.
directing. She's directing and she's co-writing with Diablo Cody.
Is it Gussy Bussy? Am I saying that right?
Gussy Bussy Buffusy.
Banana Daddy says Scooby-Doo, Spook Island, and Monster Release.
Who the fuck is listening to our podcast?
I don't know, but look, I had a crush on Scooby was the dog. Who was the little tall, skinny
Shaggy?
He did it
Scrappy.
for me. Okay, this is why, real quick, right? Because the blonde one was cute, but you knew he was dating that little redheaded girl, and you weren't going to get the draws, right? But the other tall one, just as we know, most tall, skinny, lanky men like that have meat for days. And I felt like in the 90s, you know, he would be that boy in the locker room that just be like changing and be like, you want to
Wait a second. Are you talking about... Are you talking about animated Shaggy, or are you talking about Matthew Lillard?
Okay, before we continue on
Animated.
this, we have to get our interview girls in here because I know they have opinions on Shaggy's cock size. Okay, so first, let me just say we have two guests on today for the price of one. You know them from the new hit podcast Midnight Snack. You know him from VH1 and MTV News, and you know her from The View, Best Week Ever, Logo, TLC, ABC, The Michelle Collins Show on Sirius XM. Also also Eurovision, which have some respect on Michelle's Eurovision content. And she's the Empress of TV and the Queen of the Airwaves. Please welcome Michelle Collins and Dan Acton.
Oh my God, no one's ever said so many things I'm on before introducing me. Thank you. Hi, guys.
Want to hear your entire Wikipedia article read before you come on a podcast, come on this podcast.
Yeah, and
I like that.
Next time I want to do their zodiacs too,
Yeah.
so we can make sure.
Star chart. If you have a recital,
I'll be watching Ricardo.
Which hospital they're born at?
Cancer,
Maybe too far.
Mount Sinai in Miami Beach.
Yes.
4:35
Oh,
a.m.
yes.
And let me tell you that I always ask my guests on Sirius what their astrological sign is, and it can backfire though, because some people will be like, Aquarius, what are you? And I'll say Cancer, and then it's just dead air. I'm like, well, good luck on your project.
Real quick, Dan and Michelle, real quick, I want to look them up as they're asking you questions. What are your birthdays? Because I want to see what Playboy cover came out on your day.
That's
So what's the day?
You're like making me tell you my age.
No, not the
moments.
year, just the day. Just the day.
Wow. July 9th.
July 9th and...
Yes.
April 28th.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
And a lot of serial killers
we have a
born on my
Cancer and a Aries.
Taurus, almost Aries.
Taurus.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good combo. I think that's good energy for a podcast.
That's why me and Dan have been so patient with y'all.
Yes,
That's-
absolutely. Well, and Michelle's a water sign. I'm Pisces.
Ooh,
so you
best
really
friends.
you have to read the energy well, you kind of redistribute the convo and such.
Do you have a lot of Cancer friends? Because I have so many Pisces friends.
So many. And I used to my old roommate was this straight boy, but he was a Cancer, very sensitive and sweet, and we lived together for years and years,
Y'all
like
snuggle?
besties still.
I love that. Do you
Love that.
snuggle? That's a good question.
We did. Yes, he's very, very intimate.
Oh, I live for that.
And then what?
Oh, my best friend's wedding girl. Yes. Don't marry her, but I always love you.
Bitch, we cannot go into this. I'm not dealing with your gay boy's trauma today.
Monique, this was the first year I actually saw that movie in full. One of my boyfriends loves it.
You've never seen it in full?
No, I saw it this year finally. And
okay.
So my best friend's wedding. If you don't know going into it how messy it is,
Messy.
the entire movie, you're just like, this is just y'all.
But if
Wait,
you
Jay?
through it, did you have all the emotions?
No,
trash.
because I don't want to say. I was like, this is kind of disrespectful. They're just,
Yes.
it's continually disrespectful to everyone.
To Cameron Diaz.
To Cameron
Really?
Diaz,
And
to
who
the
is a saint.
family,
What?
to him,
on
to the
Julia's
groom,
side,
to the
bitch,
gay
now.
friend.
I mean, Julia Roberts is
An
like
agent
if you
of
look
chaos
at
in that
That running
goddamn
out of
film.
rain.
she is a
Girl.
psychopath. I mean, it's an anti-hero film. It's like Breaking Bad for faggots.
Yes.
It's like
Breaking
it is
Fag.
like you see a villain come to life.
Oh,
You know what's funny, Jay? I had also never seen it until this year, and it was my personal
What?
shame because Muriel's Wedding. It's the same director as Muriel, which is
Oh,
like
yeah.
my favorite movie ever. And I couldn't believe that I waited so long. And then the whole time I'm like, Julia Roberts is a fucking monster.
A
I thought I was gonna be like, oh, I love her.
a
Like,
monster and
oh
like
no, monster.
low key still a very beautiful woman. This is Julia Roberts at the peak of her powers. So from a
prettiest.
charisma standpoint, there are scenes where she is just, and because it's also written that way, she is eating Cameron Diaz's lunch in front of her, and you're just like, man.
But the best thing is that
Girl.
Rupert Everett comes in and snatches the movie from everybody for like a full 2 scenes. Like, love the hair, love the bag, love the shoes, love everything, love to the moment I wake up. And it is like the moment. It's
I want to go
so
watch it again
good.
today.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. I root for her. I really do.
That's
Haven't
tell-
you ever?
that's
Haven't you
telling.
ever? Well, now haven't we've all been in a situation where you knew that like it was not necessarily morally the right thing, but you felt like you had to do it,
stand
like
with
you had to
Julia
go
Roberts
for it.
10 toes
As
down.
as a queer person, no. I have always been in the right because every time I do something, I get to say, no, this is groundbreaking.
Truly.
This is
Truly.
actually iconic and liberating. I stole from that CVS because my ancestors weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
I'm stealing this for Martha P. Washington.
I am ruining capitalism. I am groundbreaking.
So this is a question that we ask all of our esteemed, lovely guests.
Attractive guest. Only the
Attractive,
Beautiful,
guests.
gorgeous,
Michelle
jaw-dropping.
and Dan. These are
Yes.
unprecedented times that we are living in. How are you two, besides having an amazing podcast like Midnight Snack, how are you guys getting through this quarantine, coronavirus, COVID-19?
What are you up
Dan,
to?
Dan, you go first because I've already hogged a lot of airtime.
I am channeling my inner like Donna Reed, like Housewives. I'm pickling everything. I have about
Ooh, okay.
20 jars of pickles in my house. I have kombucha.
Yes.
This is
Wow.
all
There's-
Her gut
Literally
bacteria is
not-
flourishing.
she's like,
Yeah.
she hates this.
Yes.
She hates all this.
Chester.
I'm
stuff,
like,
but I
Dan,
have-
come with me in this Grinder podcast and let's have pickles.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Dan, in Dan's defense,
I-
grinder leads to a lot of pickling too. It's just
I
a
know.
different herb.
It's called a poke and soak.
Girl.
You guys should talk about intestinal fauna and flora, Chester and Dan.
I love that. Those
Yeah.
are our nicknames. That would
Sweetie,
be a
I'm a top
fabulous.
reason.
Aren't
Drag names, fauna
aren't those
and
Ursulas?
No, that's
Yeah.
that's Flossum and Jetsam.
Flotsam and Jetsam, yeah.
Okay.
But Dan, what?
I'm gonna
So
start laughing.
you're going full housewife.
Yes.
You're pickling.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. You love it.
I love it. I should leave
Are
the
you
house at some
selling?
point.
Are you selling the pickles?
Because I want some.
Can we buy these pickles anywhere?
I'm giving them away for free. Just come by.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I'll come pick them
wow.
up.
Generous
He really
queen.
is.
I would like to taste that.
I mean, come on.
Wait a
I would
minute
like
now.
to
You
see
got
it.
the last one now. Back up.
Exactly,
Okay, back
Patrick.
up.
Patrick likes to come in here and snatch all the
Just
guests
rude,
up and then
girl.
have an anchor baby and then demand that child support. That's what he does. So don't fall for this.
Okay. Well, Michelle, what have you been doing? And if you say pickling, I'm gonna hope it's the dirty one.
I have not pickled anything, and they can edit this part out. I'm having so many internet things going on while Dan's pickling shit. But anyway, I'm having a great time. I roll out of bed at 8 to do the show. Today we had Jerry Springer and Tiffany Pollard on.
Queen of the world.
Queen of New York.
The literal queen of New York. The
Blueprint.
queen. I love her so much. I actually
The
really
most.
think that the world owes her.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
she has a new
truly.
show on VH1, but
Yes.
that's not enough. Like she needs
Yeah.
a late night show. I need her to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Is what it's
She is the
The
blueprint.
blueprint.
Yeah.
If you're standing in it, stand in it in all the shades. She
My mind is so powerful right now.
Oh.
I should have an octane level. of God in my-
Beyonce. That was my favorite one.
Beyonce. And then she had the wherewithal as a reality TV show contestant to turn to the camera and say, Beyonce, I'm so sorry
Yes,
that this
yes,
ugly
yes.
woman.
I just want to say really quickly,
Pumpkin.
the only time I've ever been asked for a monologue in an audition, I didn't have one, and so I did her speech of her reading Gemma Collins on
No.
Big Brother. Pretty much, I would let Gemma know. I'm not going to say the rest of it because it's quite offensive, but I did say it in the
Those
casting
were
room, and I
old
did not
type
get the
of
part.
maiden
Sorry.
shoes.
Yes,
Oh my God.
she was
Well,
unqualified.
Now she has her own show on VH1 and it's sort of brunch with her, right?
Yeah, it's called Brunch with Tiffany.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And for me, the thing that I was most excited to relive with her, which I think is probably the funniest thing to ever happen on TV, happened in England, actually, when she was in the celebrity Big Brother house with David Guest. You know what I'm going to say?
Yes.
And it was David Bowie's ex-wife who looked like a Michael's Halloween store display, like truly a skeleton in like an off-white wig. And she had found out, this lovely lady, that David Bowie had passed away. So she pulls Tiffany aside to say, Tiffany, darling, David's dead. Tiffany thought it was David Guest who died, who's in the house. He's sleeping, he's napping in the next room. And if you've never seen this clip, it's the most, in my opinion, it's the most honest television, like, because reality is so filtered, you know, but this
Yes.
is just a person confused and hurt. And she's crying like, David, what? He died. When? And she's like, don't tell anyone else in the house. How can I not tell anyone else? It's so funny. And I asked her about it and she was like, well, because I said, you have to walk me through that scene. She goes, you know what? David was always sick, David Guest, which really made me laugh. Like she really thought the guy just dropped it. Like on this show. Anyways, that's not really answering your question. So I've given Tiffany Pollard a beautiful plug here. But nothing. I've been driving around a lot. I go to a lot of Costco's. I go to, I'm on a lot of dating apps, which has been horrible actually. And
Yes.
oh, it's just like, I'm willing to literally die for the virus to like get it in before 2021. And it's just how, I mean, I'm half kidding. Obviously, don't put that out. Monique is hiding. No. But I'm just, it's dark. So, but I've been, I think, shopping a lot and just spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
Shopping for men or
Shopping to look good for these dates that I go on that are horrible. Like I probably looked, I was telling Dan, I had a date recently where I looked, and you don't know me well to know that like, I think I've had a mild quarantine glow up and I'm really leaning into it in a hard way.
Yes.
And so I actually like, as someone who always puts myself down, know that this is not a usual thing for me to say, but I'm like really feeling myself now. So I
Yes.
show up on this date.
Yes.
And I'm like, I look fucking hot tonight. Like I showed up, I had this tight black dress on. I was like, I'm fucking hot tonight, like whatever. And it was the lamest, almost like pickup artist book, like negging me, but then lifting me. I'm like, do you think that I'm a fucking idiot? I have a Sirius XM radio show.
Yes.
No, I'm joking.
Anna
But the point
Cyrus.
is-
Anna Cyrus.
joking.
Radio show.
Yeah, I'm on Miley Cyrus XM.
Boom.
Do you have any idea?
Yeah.
No. Anyways, it's just like I'm wasting my time and my energy, but also, I guess, walking away with some stories. I don't know what the answer is.
Well,
That's what I've
Michelle,
been up to.
I'm happy that you have stepped your quarantine up. Your quarantine
Thank you.
No, we're not going to do that.
Say it.
Your
What?
quarantine see.
Honestly,
What's wrong with you?
Corona
it's good.
pussy.
I feel like you need to, have some sort of seeing people. People that are coupled don't understand like single people. They're like, why are you leaving the house ever? Why?
Right.
It's like, girl, like I need
Strong
to
girl.
fucking. You're getting dick down. I mean, even if it's with the same man, first of all.
Who are these
you don't know
couples?
where I'm at.
Who are these couples?
I know who is the person on the receiving end of the dick? Because it sure as hell
Not in Los Angeles. That's not happening.
not in Los Angeles.
It's true. LA was the dustiest city I've ever been in. Like my tussie was dusty. It was
Okay,
horrible.
it's ashy right
Wait,
now.
I
Let
didn't
me
know
tell
that
you.
was true for straight people. Wait a minute.
Well, when
Wait,
you're-
so straight
like,
women find
straight
bottoms too?
plus size brunettes, by the way. Yeah, it's true. It was horrible.
I always, whenever I go to Los Angeles, I realize why people aren't able to sleep with people as quickly as New York. Because it's like, I'm coming. I'm committed to this journey.
Oh,
That
right.
part.
Can we?
3 miles is 30 minutes.
And then that person's like, I'm running a little late. It's like, well, I'm not going.
Yeah.
In New York,
Well, I
people
mean, it's
get
the same thing in
places-
New York. You're just sleeping with everyone in the same borough,
That
right?
just
part,
clo-
bitch.
well,
yeah.
If you're
I
at
mean,
45th
I
Street
can-
and going to like 125th,
your
bitch.
grinder grid is just smaller, darling.
That
It's like
part.
You're
1,000.
on a shorter grid. You go through them faster.
Can you
but there's more
imagine not having
people.
the extra either? You would just rotate to the same 12 people, girl.
That's
Horrible.
what mine is like, and it's like if it's 1,000 feet, I'm like, how many steps is that? That
That's
seems
what
like
I think.
yeah. Like,
Be like, how far? Is that across the street or down the hall?
And then-
Same building, just different floor.
It's so funny because as a woman, our dating apps are like the opposite. It's just like she's anywhere, meaning like I don't want a guy to know where I am because
Right.
I don't want to get
That's
killed.
stalker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's like I can
Naturally.
be 1 to 100 miles away from you. It's just like a Looney Tunes kind of gray circle. Like, where is she? You'll never know because she doesn't want to die tonight.
Are
So I
guys
like how
weird?
Grinder's just like.
Are guys weird on Tinder or Bumble, wherever you are? Like, are like on Grinder, they'll just like hit you up with the dick pic. Don't even say hello. It's just dick, 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 and some of the
Yeah.
crustiest
Yeah.
booty holes.
Wait, whoa.
I don't like what you just said. I don't want to get any crusty booty holes into my.
I don't think
Neither do
Michelle
we.
is getting a lot of booty hole
You
sex.
was
Monique,
surprised
I
what
have a
straight men are
feeling.
into, girl?
Monique, my question: Who is sending less than great hole pics?
Right.
Bitch, you want to go through the
I have received a few just today.
Monique said,
actually.
Is it just today, girl? And we got the
Yeah.
unlimited because we work for them, so you know they see everything, bitch.
Okay, baby.
Or maybe he's asking you to check on like a polyp or something. I don't know.
There's more than that going on, baby. There's a whole lot. There's a colonoscopy in need of happening, if you know what
My
I'm
thing,
saying.
my thing is, who is sending Monique Hart like horrible shots?
Girl, you'll
like,
be very
if I-
surprised. bitch.
Yeah,
You'll be
I-
very
It was me.
I
surprised.
would just, if I were to expose myself to Monique, I would want,
Yeah, Monique,
a ring light.
who is showing
on my
Yes.
anus.
Who is showing
all
you
around your ring light.
their brown
Yeah.
cow, and it's not stunning?
A few.
Oh God.
Girl,
Here we
Okay.
go.
Has anyone
Chester-
here? Has anyone here ever face tuned their anus? Because I'll be honest, I think if I took one of mine, I would want to make it really smooth and small, and like I
No,
It's the pinch feature. You got to pinch to
Pinch
zoom.
it.
Yeah.
I took
uh-huh.
a photo and had a face tune it because my booty was ashy because I didn't lotion that day. But he was like, he wanted a photo, and I didn't want to send him my ashy booty pic. I remember that. That was like right before I got on Drag Race, girl. I'll never forget that.
I have
There's a
I've never taken a whole pic, but I just
no.
like
Ever?
Never.
No.
That is
You?
gross. People be like, let me
No.
see a
You?
hole.
I've taken a butt pic,
That's 'cause
but
that's
like
tasteful.
not a hole. I don't know if guys need to see that to get them enticed. I think
Dan,
maybe
Yeah,
What's
actually,
your-
totally
like
right.
Jaws.
Yeah. I don't know
Dan
who would
is
do that. That's
cheesing
so
like Chester
weird.
the
Dan,
cat,
what's
okay?
your Dan?
Yeah.
Are you laughing because you have that whole pic from Patrick and you know he's lying?
No, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, how different are they? Like, once you've seen one, you're right.
No, that's not true.
So no one here has been specifically.
Well-
You know what? Never mind. Let me not out myself here.
Remember, this is the good thing about Jesus, girl. We have a testimony. Okay, so you had a past life. You a Christian now. Your legs is closed to Christian.
Yes.
women.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
I am a virgin.
That's
I'm a newly
right.
found
If
virgin
There
as
is
of
no
2020.
testimony without a
Without a
test.
test.
And hopefully
Say
you
that.
are
Song
tested
says.
every 3 months For your Discovery, a Truvada prescription. Blood work, won't he do it?
Won't it? Wow.
Someone get the blanket and put it over me.
What's
What's the
Yeah, let's
worst
move
thing
on.
you guys have watched during quarantine? This is something we're asking people because we're watching so much and there's so much like
Trash.
Yeah,
weird
Michelle,
back-end
as an
stuff
actress,
they're launching.
burn some bridges right now. That's what Patrick wants people to do.
Yes,
Yeah.
No,
girl.
I think you think I'm an actress when I'm not even in the union anymore. But
Ruin
it's fine.
careers,
Let your
Michelle.
listeners
Ruin
think.
careers. Tell these bitches they're trash. Tell
Yeah,
them. Tell these
this
hoes
is
you're
this
trash.
is the section where Patrick's always like, Jay, how much shit do you want to talk about Ryan Murphy? And I'm like, well, we got an hour.
Oh,
is
Ryan,
he?
are you very anti-Ryan? I would never talk shit
No,
about Ryan.
I'm not anti-Ryan
I'm scared.
Murphy.
I'm scared, but I'm also brave.
We should be allowed to say beautiful certain seasons,
Gowns,
and we should also be
gorgeous
able to
gowns.
go, what is going on?
How do you
He's like
spell
the white Tyler Perry, don't you think, Ryan?
What? Okay,
Like
I'm
he's
Googling right now.
Ryan Murphy, because like no one really like everyone knows that. I was watching Medea the other night, and I was like, because I like Tyler, I think he's incredible. I love what he's doing in Atlanta. Like he's just an amazing guy. But then you really watch Medea, and you're like, this guy is that rich.
Oh,
You're like,
Oh.
you know what I mean? It's just it's so funny. It's like watching a parody of like a man in drag. You know what I mean?
as a
Yes.
queer black person, do you understand how many times I've been like, man, do I need to sell my soul for some of that Tyler Perry money?
No, just put a wig and a
Definitely.
dress on, girl, and you'll get there.
I mean, what is the worst thing you guys have watched?
Oh, Dan, that's a tough one because I've watched so much stuff that my brain is like handfuls of kinetic sand at this point. Like I don't really have a lot left. But
Right.
I watched, you know, it's funny. I watched something this week that I liked, but I thought was made badly, and I'm gonna call it out.
Come on,
I watched
Michelle.
The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Did anyone see
Oh.
it?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
The animation.
Let me
Why
tell
did
you
we need
something.
to act it out? It was so good without that.
Why are they having people? But it felt like what I said was an interesting documentary talking about how, you know, Instagram and everything else is changing our brains and making us like rats for the treat. Like we just want the likes, I want it
Right.
all. I want all of it. But they had actors, like good actors, portraying teenagers who were like, I need my phone. God, I gotta get my phone. And I'm like, what? Like, why do I feel like I'm in like the 4th grade being forced to
Yes.
watch some documentary about the addiction to your
Yes.
phones? It just felt very retro, but not in a way that they meant to do it. So I thought that was like kind of, I didn't love it.
was
That's
pretty
not
It was
a good
already
answer.
so powerful because they literally had like the former president of Facebook and Pinterest and
Yeah.
all these people talking. I didn't need this clearly 30-year-old guy playing a 16-year-old on the soccer team.
Right.
When
Yeah,
that
if
kid
I
was in
want to
his- I
see
mean,
Yeah.
a
go on.
30-year-old play a 16-year-old, I will watch Riverdale. And that's
Something
I
we
like
love.
that. At least season 1 was good, okay?
Chester the boy who lived, put on the invisibility cloak.
Chester, were you on that show?
No, but I've auditioned.
Oh, okay.
She's trying.
Michelle,
Wait, Dan, what's your show?
I watched a movie, I think it was a Lifetime movie from a while ago, but have you seen Invisible Child?
oh, that sounds
Oh,
scary.
is that the book where he's like his mom was evil to him?
No, this is Tom Hanks's wife, Rita. What's her
Rita
name?
Wilson?
Wilson.
Rita
Rita
Wilson.
Oh,
Wilson.
the singer Rita Wilson.
Yes,
No.
correct.
Famous singer and
Famous
fan
singer.
of hair people, fan of hair and makeup.
So she is she's a woman who has 2 kids, but believes she has a third that's just invisible. And everybody has to go
Oh, I
along
like
with it in the
that.
family.
Fierce.
And the kids
Oh
just
my
all like
God.
respond to it. And the plot is that she hires like a British nanny to come and only take care of the invisible child. And there's
It's like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
yeah, exactly. But everybody has to play along with it. And there's a scene where, like, at the county fair or something, the invisible child gets lost, and then Rita she's like, where is she? And the nanny is like, she's standing right here, and she's like, no, she's not. And they have to like go chasing after like air.
It's called The
Wait,
Invisible
okay,
Child.
Invisible Child.
this is your
this
worst
is
show.
fierce.
I would
That's
have watched this
amazing.
It
now.
might actually be the best show.
Yeah, did it loop? Is it looping? This sounds bad enough to be good, is what I'm hearing.
I watched
Yeah.
the whole thing. I loved it.
Okay,
It's
well,
really
Is
great.
it on Netflix?
It is on YouTube.
Oh, even better.
For sure. Yeah,
No, it's good.
No subscription necessary.
Wow.
YouTube has some of my favorite TV shows
Yes,
as well,
yes,
so that
yes.
makes sense. It does produce quality
Wait,
content.
can I say one thing? And Monique, I'm dying to talk to you, so I just have to say you reminded me of the actually best thing I watched, which is on Tubi, which is why I forgot about it. There's a British reality show called Can Fat Teens Hunt? And that is the actual name of it. And this was early quarantine. This was like, Monique! And they put these 6 morbidly obese teenagers who are all British, like, oh, whatever, I'm hungry. Yeah, like they're so lazy. In the middle of like the Bolivian forest with all these like true natives there who were like eating like mealworms and shit. And they're all puking and crying. It was honestly, that was actually the best show.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I'm taking
the
it.
UK does stuff like this because
They
there's
do. They are rude as hell.
another UK show called Release the Hounds, and what they do, is they just get people in like a vest and they have to run towards a fence and jump over it. And if they get over the fence, they get like a certain amount of money. The only
Oh my God.
trouble is the minute they say go, you get to run in like this weighted vest. They release like dogs and the dogs chase you. So keep in mind, this is maybe 30 seconds of action and they can make it into a 30-minute show. It's like 3 rounds and you just watch dogs attack people, which like as a black person who's from the South and has seen civil rights footage, I'm kind of like, well, have fun, y'all.
Yeah.
So our next question, Michelle and Dan, can fat teens hunt? We were wondering.
Can I just say a resounding no. I'll make it really easy. They really can't. They got into it, but they left still heavy. And but I gotta tell you, watching it, I was like, I should do this. Like I should go to Bolivia and like leave so hot. Like, what did you do? I'm like, Bolivia.
I watched part of it though. I was shocked at how much sex they were having though. They started like hooking up.
Yeah.
Wait,
much.
Oh my God,
The
this is
teens
on
on
Tubi?
What is Tubi? Okay, is that another app?
Tubi.
Michelle,
Wait a
I need
second.
I'm
passcode.
writing this
Talk to me.
down.
Are we spelling hunt with a C? What is happening over there?
Nick is trying to ask me a question and I want to talk about it.
One, what is Tubi?
That's what you wanted to ask me?
Well, no, I have a
Tubi.
real question, but I just want to know where to
Tubi.
watch the show.
Yeah, or not to be.
Oh, that's clever. Tubi is like some shitty app. You can do it on Apple TV, but it's free.
It's
But
like
they have
Zeus.
a lot of stuff that's TUBI, like get your TV side.
Zeus is like, okay, Michelle, Zeus is like, I guess, Black Tubi. Zeus, they'll like anyone who got kicked off of Love and Hip Hop
Hip-hop,
anything
yes.
is like on Zeus.
Wow.
Yeah, like Black
Zeus.
China had her show on Zeus. And then her
It's like
mama had-
UPN 93.
No,
Yeah.
it's like I wouldn't even. UPN was like showing us like black people in the middle class, black people are
Yeah,
making
girl,
it. We can,
UPN
was
Zeus
good.
is like the opposite. It's like I mean, I used to sell drugs and I used to be on VH1. Now I just sell drugs. But
Yeah. Who was the guy that was with New York? It was New York, and then it was when she was on her talk show, she had the twin brothers.
Real and Chance.
Real and Chance has his own reality show now on Zeus.
Because, and this is gonna get very black church for a second, because Real passed away. Did you hear Real died?
No, they didn't mention that, girl. Is that why he's not on the show?
Real
Wow,
died.
no one told me.
It was a kidney situation. Yeah. He passed away. The funeral was lovely. The repast was nice. They
Gorgeous.
Do they have,
yeah.
soul food after collard greens, butter biscuits, and macaroni?
That's for real though. He did pass
Okay,
away.
hey, Michelle, I have a real question. Here we go. Michelle, first of all, you're gorgeous. So I don't know what you looked like technically before, but you came on
Thank
looking
you.
good. And if you look good digitally, girl, then you know you look good in person.
Oh my
okay?
God. You know I've
The
loved you
skin is
forever, by the way.
glowing. Thank you.
I'm like your fan. So, like I've always been obsessed with you and I was just so excited to be here with all of you. Okay, what's your
Okay, here we go. Michelle, are you watching the Real Housewives of Potomac? And what do you think of our friend of the podcast, Monique Samuels?
Let me tell you something about our hop, as I like to call it, like the IHOP, but it's our hop.
Mhm.
I watch it week in, week out. I think it's the best city on Housewives.
Facts.
Mhm.
They are the best looking, the most intelligent, the classiest. They bring the drama in a way that feels authentic. I have no complaints about the Potomac Girls. I really love the show.
Right.
So I'm going to start with that. T'Challa has really stolen the season for me. Now, if you don't watch it, T'Challa, I like to call her T'Challa because I'm a Jew, is the parrot that Monique owns. That I don't know if you saw this week when they killed the roach and they were like afraid of this huge, big flying roach, and all the girls were like tiptoeing out of the room, Scooby style. We have to go back to Shaggy's dick, by the way, tiptoeing. They were like, "Is it dead?" And from behind them, T'Challa flew at them. These are like nervous women afraid of a little roach. I nearly passed the fuck out. Like they are, I love it. I love Monique. I think I'm a fan. I don't like Candace.
Yes, same.
No.
Same.
And they're trying to villainize Monique this season.
And it's not
it
gonna
is
happen.
not working.
Not
it just
one
doesn't
point.
play.
Not at all.
She like isn't falling into the editing traps,
No.
I feel.
There was, okay, so last Sunday, someone said, watch this recent episode to see what the turn is, because there's a moment where Monique goes from allegedly what we saw in Monique, we can see that she's about to get ready to get a bit scrappier with someone.
Girl, I live, okay? Because she is like, bitch, I'm pregnant and I will drag your ass
And that was
right
last
now.
season.
Yes.
And we all know Candace like likes to run her mouth, and Candace talks about people's babies.
Bitch,
Candace
okay.
don't care.
Correct.
What about Wendy? Now, Wendy's someone I have a personal problem with.
Yes.
Professor Wendy.
Oh.
Professor Wendy.
Which one is that? The blonde
She's
one with the
new
short
this
hair?
season.
Oh.
She's been it's like a political like talking head on some stuff. She's a professor at Howard, I think.
Now, by the way, they let anybody do that to be a political commentator. I just want you to know, not a professor, I'll give that to her, but that's not like literally anybody with a good skin can be put on CNN. Take it.
Okay.
That's first. Second, I really just can't stand like the energy that she brought to that show was so negative for me and just came in too hot. You know, there's certain people. There's a game you play when you join Housewives. Like you look at Beverly Hills. Sutton, as an example, I think sucks the worst because she actually brought nothing to the table except for like an ugly face and horrible clothing. You have to be, you agree, you have to come in and be charming, at least at first. You like Leah was, I thought, fairly charming and she brought drama, but you wanted to be her friend. You were like, oh, here's a young person. She brought good vibes in here and there. Sutton didn't do it, and Wendy certainly didn't do it. So I think sometimes people play their cards wrong when they join the show, where they're like, I'm going to come in hot and really be dramatic. And it turns the audience against you, I think, too quickly.
Well, what did you think about Dorinda's exit? You watch New York, and you know, seeing Dorinda's journey from season 1 Dorinda to that her final night, it's kind of a crazy 180.
Well, let me tell you this. I know Dorinda, I don't want to brag, but of course I'm going to. A few weeks ago, I went to Bluestone Manor over Labor Day. I visited
Were you in the
Dorinda.
shark room?
No, because she renovated it. So the fish room's
Oh,
over
right,
with.
right. The fish room's over.
And also, guys, like, you may not know this about me, but like, I'm not a star fucker. So I didn't want to be like, show me the fish room. I was like, what a beautiful home. Thank you for having me. Like, I was like, you've shot a television show here? What? What's the show called? You know, I try to play stupid so that, you know, I'm friends for her, which I actually do really like Dorinda a lot. But I don't know what happened to her this season. You know, she talked a little bit about it. We talked about the show, obviously. Look, I think she broke up with John, I will say this. I've met John a few times, like a Louis Vuitton garment bag stuffed with newspaper. The guy was so dark and soft and harsh. Like, you know, nice enough guy, by the way, but probably for the best that they broke up.
Yeah.
She broke up with him. I think that she's going through a lot of feelings. She had the house, like, had a flooding. Like, there's a lot of stuff. And I do think that she drank, and those feelings came out, were filtered out in a way, much like a shark. I don't know what I'm saying, where we're not done in a way that, number one, made her look good, but I think we're a little bit too vicious because I don't find her to be naturally vicious. I've actually always found her to be extremely warm. Frankly, of all the New York girls, the warmest and always the friendliest. So it bummed me out because I do like her. I don't think that that's who she really is.
And now it's time for Hot Tops, where we break down all the latest political, cultural, and queer gossip. Let's begin.
All right, first hot top. Excuse me, here we go. The New York Times reports that the wildfires raging on the West Coast are an all but inescapable crisis around the country, with at least 27 people dead in 3 states. The smoke haze reaching as far as New York City. That's crazy. Michelle, Dan, and Jay, how do you feel, or do you feel the effects?
No.
No.
That's a bit of a I mean, maybe they're not engaging in hyperbole, but I don't see the smoke here. I mean, I pray and hope everything's gonna get better in California, but it's not affecting me in New York right
So
now.
the New York Times
Don't worry
is
about us.
inaccurate.
How are you guys?
Yeah.
Forget us. You're like by the fire.
Right.
I
What's
mean,
happening
New
by
York.
you?
New
Horrible.
York's been through enough. I think they're
Yeah.
okay with passing on the wildfires.
Yeah.
I'm in Laurel Canyon right now,
Oh.
and it smells like you're in the middle of a campfire.
Wow.
Like that's to
It's
me
horrible.
the weirdest part is it's not orange like Oregon and Washington, but it does feel like, you know, we've all seen the LA smog, but it's like, imagine if that was even more sallow yellow and it felt like you were like constantly cooking things
I
like
don't like
everywhere.
that.
It's horrible. I mean, the air quality Los Angeles is number 7 on cities with worst air quality in the world
Yeah.
right
Wow.
now.
It's
They
It's
did a comparison
crazy.
that breathing in the air one day in LA this week has been the same as smoking 20 packs of cigarettes a day. Of the
What?
long-term effects.
I need to go
So
to Palm
it's been-
Springs because this is crazy.
Well, yeah, it's been. I have a bunch of like skin issues, and I just have fucking hives all over my taint. Like
What?
it is a disaster. You can, if you go outside. I've had to go outside a few times, and you can just feel the like grit and ash on your
Yeah.
skin.
God.
It's dark. It's very dark.
My cat Mason, he likes to go out on the leash and sit on the deck and stuff. He's an outdoor cat, but I can't let him go too far because like coyotes and stuff. And he literally asked to come back in. I think because of the smoke. He never
my
does
Does he
God.
have an
this.
accent or does he sound American?
Yeah, I was like, this is.
He's French Cajun, so
French Cajun? He's Gambit from
Yeah.
the X-Men.
It was
Yeah,
so
that's
bougie the way you
exactly.
said it. Okay.
but yeah, horrible.
Horrible. You said it so bougie. You know, my cat, Mason, you know,
Yeah,
he likes to
I was talking
lounge.
about a purse, and then he said on a leash, and I said, "Oh, he's one of those." So you fuck Italian men and have your cats on leashes and go get eggplants from the farmer's market.
Okay, so Mason is house in
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and house is like me and my friends call each other house. Like we're in the same house, so that was the name of the
Wait a
cat.
I want to go
Second.
lay on my chaise
It's not a
lounge with
bougie
Mason.
thing. It's a
Yeah.
queer
What's
thing.
cat in French? Or isn't cat
Shot.
something in
Shot.
Isn't it
French?
shot?
Shot. Yeah.
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 I speak fluent French. I'm obviously just joking. The fact that I knew can, it's shot. I said it so confidently. I've never taken a French
Is it
lesson.
shot?
Michelle said that like she was in Paris right now,
I was like,
about
je
to
suis
school you.
Charlie.
We-
Mi casa, tu casa. I don't know what I'm saying, and I don't speak any other language but English. I can curse in like 4 languages, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking
Hungarian,
of other
Hebrew,
languages,
Yeah.
Hebrew, yes. Okay, we don't want to talk about this next hot top, but unfortunately we must. I have blocked her on Twitter, so I do not see her anymore, but I
Ooh.
have heard she's at it again, folks. Famous magical turf J.K. Rowling's new book, Troubled Blood, is about a cisgender man who wears women's clothes to kill women. An early review in The Telegraph called it a book whose moral seems to be never trust a man in a dress. And I also want to say in the like descriptions of the book that have been put out, she uses the word transvestite specifically,
Really?
which is
Wow.
just
Right.
even just more seething. Patrick, at this point, how far should our cancellation of J.K. Rowling go?
I mean, at this point, we don't speak of the dead. You
It's
know?
true.
Ooh.
Like this girl is so beyond canceled. It's so funny how getting $1 billion will make it so you just do not deal with consequences. But at the same time, we must still continue to not buy her books. I mean, not give her the attention she wants to be a victim because she really wants to be a
There should be a
victim
Harry
so
Potter
badly.
book burning
So bad.
ceremony.
She's got this weird thing. You know, when growing up, you used to always hear the story, I was dirt poor, I was writing at the McDonald's and stuff. She always used to be this, the world was against me and still I persevered. It's almost like she's still so stuck in that mindset that she's like acting like the world is still against her with this trans women's her
Yeah.
opinions on it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight for what I believe in. It's like, what you believe in is morally corrupt.
Yeah.
You're
Here's
Girl,
the
you're
crazy
Voldemort.
thing. As a woman, the last people that I lose sleep over on Earth are transgender people. And I'm
Yes.
saying that it's like there's the last people who like, the people that I'm afraid of are like straight men. Like, I'm not worried about getting murdered by a man in a dress. It's a man in a suit.
That part.
Like, I don't want, you know what I mean?
part.
So it's crazy to me that she would take umbrage that somehow her femininity or her femaleness is being attacked by people who are just living their lives, having nothing to do with this woman. She's already made an incredible career for herself. I'll tell you that for me, this has had no impact on my life, only because, obviously I'm not talking socially, I'm just talking as far as being her fan, because I never read a single one of her books. I admit I've seen her movies in the theaters, that's it. So it's not like I lost something by having to not read her stuff.
Yeah.
But I know that she means so much to so many people that it's just such a, what a weird legacy to leave behind. To me, it's like, how mentally sick do you have to be to take your amazing stories that have been so important, I know, in queer canon, and I know so many queer people love Harry Potter, they find meaning in it, and then to shit on that for your own mini little ego. To me, it's meant, I don't want to say mental illness because that's not right, but it's just something snapped in this woman, unfortunately. I don't know. It's very, very upsetting.
She's had so many like off ramps where it's like, oh, do you mean this? She's like, no, I mean this. Like, oh, do you mean it in this way? Like kind of a generational thing? She's like, no, I wrote an essay about it. That's what it is. I'm like, okay, do you mean it like this? And she's like, no, here's my novel about it. Like, it's like,
exactly.
She won't stop. It's like,
she wrote her like piece de resistance about it, essentially. She's going to further to say like, fuck you to trans women. Also, you know, it's like crazy.
But it's also so easy to like not do anything as a billionaire. Like, you legitimately don't have to do anything. Like this is an effort and an action that you're taking when you could literally just be like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna count how many bathrooms I have in this house.
Exactly. Right.
You know, as a feminist, though, I will say it is nice to finally see a woman get canceled. Because we've had Harvey Weinstein and, you know, R. Kelly and Woody Allen, Bill Cosby. Toss a woman onto the list of monsters. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah. You know what, Michelle? That's a great point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congrats to JK for empowering women to get canceled.
Yes,
representation matters.
Both a step forward and a step back.
Two hops this time.
Okay, so our third hot top this week, no questions asked. The highlight of coronavirus has been the versus battles on Apple TV. And we had Brandy versus MONIQUE 2 weeks ago. We've had Alicia Keys versus John Legend, DMX versus Snoop Dogg. But this weekend, this past Sunday, we got Patti LaBelle versus Gladys Knight. We got Philly versus Atlanta. It was the most uplifting auntie, motherboard, deaconess, first lady showdown we've ever had. Now, I have an opinion about it, but I'll ask the panel. Did Patti and Gladys, did they soothe your soul? And if you want to pick a winner, go ahead and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
I watched.
Yes.
I love how I'm not. I will say I watched. I felt truly like I control alt deleted my soul. Like everything started anew, like newborn baby times. They don't make them like that anymore. And I don't want to sound kind of old fashioned in that way, but it's like that classiness and the talent that those women brought to that stage and the regalness that they brought. There are very, very few performers of a younger generation who have what those ladies brought to that stage that night. It just blew my mind. I felt so grateful that they agreed to even do something like that. And I would say that I wish there was a way for me to watch it all the time. Like I wish Netflix would buy it or put all of them online so I could put it on my TV and like clean my apartment to it. You know, that's my official take.
It was so good. I was so happy that Versus selected them. They've also just raised the bar because with Brandy versus MONIQUE, you were like, I don't know what we're gonna do. And then when I heard it was Gladys versus Patti, I was like, oh, okay. And then I also was like, I gotta call my mama. I loved it. I was.
Who do you think won?
I was Team Patti going into it, and I walked out of it. And guess what? I walked out of it still Team Patti. Well, I agree. So Gladys Gladys made me respect her discography. It made me respect On and On. It made me respect License to Kill. It made me respect Neither One of Us. It made me respect Midnight Train to Georgia even more.
Ugh.
But the way I knew Patty won is because Gladys had to play Midnight Train to Georgia twice, and Patty had 4 sections where she did back-to-back hits. So it's just, I mean, it was closer than I thought it was gonna be, but Patty, New Attitude.
Girl.
New Attitude saved Cameron Michaels, if we're being honest.
Which was a gag.
Which was
Yes.
my thing with
love
Patty
LaBelle.
is, why do people know Patty does not know the words or lyrics to anything? They know this going in. You know your Aunt Patty does not know her own songs. She knows the notes, spiritually, but she'll never know the words.
The only word she knew was the ABC song. Y'all remember that from Sesame?
Okay,
Yes.
Sesame Street. Yes.
She knew she said C, not D. Okay, I know that was
Okay, like Patty technically won because I feel like she had more known actual like bops.
Yes.
I felt like Gladys sang Patty up under the benches.
Well, Gladys was still in her alto bag.
Right.
Like
she
her
was
contralto bag, actually.
She
Yes.
still, like, she sang. I felt like, because we knew Patty was like, right, Patty's like, bitch, okay?
But Patty also sang at the very end of Somewhere Over the Rainbow and kicked the shoes off, though.
Girl,
so.
now, that's when she takes
okay.
us off, girl, when she kicks the, okay, but I do feel that maybe Patty's, her in-ear piece or the microphone or the monitor wasn't right, because it seemed like she was a little off.
Yeah, there were moments where she could have just sat back and chilled, but with people,
come on,
how you gonna tell a 76-year-old and a 77-year-old what to do?
Can we just talk about how the skin looked right, girl?
Right.
Oh my God.
Glistening.
Gorgeous. The quarantine glow up happened to them as well.
Girl, you wearing
but collard
Louboutins.
greens and butter biscuits, bitch.
You are showing off your Louboutins S76, just being like, casually. I got these.
I love that Patty does not know a single of Gladys's songs. She's
No.
looking at her like. It was so funny.
I went back to her.
She was
I
doing
went
her
back to her
makeup.
C-SPAN Christmas thing, which is my favorite thing ever, where she sang This Christmas. And speaking of not knowing words, she's literally singing out loud, This Christmas, there are no words on the cue card where my singers in the back.
Yes.
This Christmas, just making her own words up about how unprepared she is. That is, to me, the meaning of Christmas.
Where are my background singers?
And she still got paid, though, okay? She still got a check.
And
Patty will Patty.
And the best part is the second half of that video. It gets even funnier because she goes, next card. Oh, honey, I need that. Not that one. Oh, I gotta introduce this man. He's here. He's give it up for Major Lieutenant. Oh my God, what's like?
Yeah,
but she carried it through.
If you've
she was
never
able to get
seen
away.
that video, please YouTube Patty This Christmas, because it is like one of the funniest screams you will have.
It should be an official in the official Christmas canon. Not
that
this
part.
Christmas.
Yes.
This
I would
Christmas by
love to
Donny
hear
Hathaway is already in there, but that
Yes.
version.
It's in the queer YouTube canon.
Wouldn't you love
of,
to
like,
hear that while
when you're at a
shopping?
party and you have the what?
Wouldn't you love to hear that while shopping and like during the Christmas section and you just hear Patty, where's the cue card?
Where's my background?
Because Monique, as a shopper, you're gonna just hear ba-ba-dum, ba-dum, 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 and you're gonna be like, okay, I know what this is. But then when you're gonna be like, oh, wait a second, this snow globe is gonna have to wait. What?
Okay, it's time for Grinder Hotline. Our lovely listeners have left us questions about sex and dating over voicemail. We'll play the voicemail live and offer our best advice. If you have a sex and dating question, our number is 424-235-4430. Leave us a voicemail or an email at rearviewpod@gmail.com. Or this week, a listener sent us a text. So it's a Google voicemail box. This is real. They did not want to leave their voice, so they sent us a Google text to our voicemail.
They must have a very distinctive voice.
Please. Or it's someone we know.
Patrick sent it, okay? This is what, listen to this.
I sent it in. This is my question. Okay. So it says, Hey, what's up, Grinder Sisters? I need a damn well answer for this. So I'm a 22-year-old man, baby, and I know this, but I want to move out, and I don't know how to tell my family how I can divorce them. I need my own space.
22, are you bragging about how young you are to us?
Now, is this person saying, I'm a 22-year-old man, baby? Or are they saying, I'm a 22-year-old man, baby?
There's no comma, so I didn't know. I took it.
Man,
I took
baby.
our yeah, a man baby.
Has to be.
I took our artistic license with
Dan,
it.
is this your letter?
I'm a 22-year-old man.
Man baby.
Baby.
Well, I will say this. I don't think it's the time to move out during quarantine.
No.
If you're in the United States, I would say wait till next spring when you've had a vaccine or when things are opening up more and you feel like there's a reason to have an apartment.
Like you can pay your rent.
You're not going to get laid that much by yourself.
True.
Like your family, it's nice to be with people right now. You don't want to feel more isolated. That can affect your mental health. So I personally would say, unless they're like literally like, abusive or something, which is a different situation. But if they're just annoying sometimes, maybe wait a few months to move.
I just couldn't disagree more. I feel, wow, we're just different,
Auntie
I guess.
Michelle, come down.
It's versus Michelle and Patty.
Exactly. My background singers would have had a gospel choir could be like, move out now. Rents are cheap. They're dirt cheap. They're getting cheaper and cheaper here in New York, and I'm sure they're cheap outside. I have to tell you that I think every day, thank God I live by myself, that I'm at an age where I can live by myself.
Praise
Because
God.
if I had to live with my parents, if I had to have gone home, let's say in college, it would have ended in a death. And I don't know if it's mine, theirs. We would not have made it through. I can't be around them for more than 3 straight days. Like it just would not have been healthy for me mentally, honestly, to be home with them. So I feel like if sexually he's pent up, if he's just done with it and he has the means, wants to get a job, people are hiring right now, believe it or not, then if he can figure it out, get a cheap apartment and try it out. He should sublet a place actually instead of getting a year lease.
Oh, yeah.
Go for a month or two because a lot of people are fleeing the city. Go take over someone's lease. You can get it probably half off and see if you like it.
I might sublet my place.
22,
so if you're in LA.
This is my question about 22. Are you like a 22-year-old that's like ready to be by yourself? Because you sent us a text. An adult would have called. So
Reading the girls.
I'm asking you, are you lashing out? And this is fine. We're here as your Grindr REARVIEW sisters to let you, to also sometimes give you some hard truths.
Yeah.
And baby girl, it's tough out here.
In
Like
the
this,
street.
Okay.
this is our gig. We got a little gig right now. Do you have one? Are you ready?
Because they want the rent on the 1st, okay? And
Yes,
they send
everybody.
a letter at 1:30
I'm
on the
just
2nd if you have not sent it in.
And don't forget about the electric bill.
And the internet.
water.
That's right.
Miss Utilities,
Sewage.
yes.
Parking.
I would also say, like, if you are a man baby, some people are going to be into that,
Yeah.
So I think
If
being
this is a
wanting to be
diaper
taken
play thing, you
exactly.
need that.
Make sure you
If you want to be
charge
taken
him.
care of,
Diapers are
yeah,
expensive.
exactly. Get the coin first.
Charge
Be a
him.
man baby elsewhere, but make sure you're getting paid for
Girl,
it,
you could
sweetie.
still live
okay?
at home, charge him, and stack coins.
Exactly.
And then be
do
like,
the OnlyFans from your parents' bedroom.
Okay,
Like,
one,
Oh, that's
one thing is he said, and I don't know how to tell my family
Yeah,
that I want to divorce them.
oh, he's not ready to move out. No
Yeah,
shade. You're not
yeah.
ready to move
Yeah.
out.
Wait a second. Also, you know you don't divorce your family when you move out, right?
Yeah, girl.
That's a different question.
Is it Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
worried.
Is it someone who filed for emancipation?
Come on, yeah, come
Yeah,
on.
you're 22. This isn't the emancipation of Mimi.
Well,
Like,
truthfully,
girl,
at
you're
18,
just growing up.
he should have been. My mama was like, "Bitch, you're 18. Let's go. Pack your shit."
Okay.
What's that scene?
Yes.
Angela Bassett, get your shit.
Yeah.
Get your shit and get out.
Fascinating.
I'll say this. I don't know about you, but I'm not feeling this 22-year-old's attitude. Thank you, T Swifties.
Oof.
okay, Jay.
Okay,
all
and
right.
finally,
Moving on.
yeah. finally, our queer legacy question. These are questions that every group of queer people have fought over the years. What is the greatest Oscar speech? Who is the best Spice Girl? What is the proper way to douche? We're gonna battle it out, have our own little versus battle amongst ourselves, and then we want to hear from you at us at Grindr and use the hashtag queerlegacy and give us your answer, and we'll read them at the top of the show next week. Okay, are you all ready, guys and gals?
Yes.
Our queer legacy question is, what is the best reality TV show of the decade, 2010 to 2020?
Do you want me to say what I want to say? Because it's going to be controversial.
Yes, start. Kick it off.
We love a hot take.
Jersey Shore.
Right.
Jersey Shore changed programming. It made celebrities out of the cast. Like, I don't know any other reality show on MTV that did that. They had how many seasons of Jersey Shore? 4? And then Pauly D and Vinny currently have a show. JWoww and Snooki have a show. Ronnie has, I think, an ankle bracelet for probation. So
was it still airing into the? Oh yeah, until 2012. You're right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Jersey Shore.
Sort of makes
I'm not
sense,
mad at
yeah.
your choice, but I will say on a personal level, it's like, does this question mean what show do personally I love to watch? What I like for the past decade, or what show has like changed the landscape of reality TV? Because I have not prepared my answer.
Because is this limited
it work.
2010 to
2010 to 2020.
Yeah.
This is of the decade.
I would say this is what you consider the best.
To me, and I think this is like maybe an obvious choice, but I just think like range of talent, opening up a new market for people and elevating the queer voice. And this is, maybe people will find this controversial, but I think that RuPaul's Drag Race has not only brought queer culture into the mainstream as far as drag and done wonders for that, Emmy Awards, all those sorts of things, but it genuinely is just a great show where you have to, normally a show Dancing with the Stars or, American Idol, you focus on one talent. Drag Race, bitch, you better have it all. So that's my opinion.
I'm gonna have to check that show out.
Yeah, it's new. It's new. It's underrated, I would say.
Sounds good. Sounds really fun.
But you're saying from I guess continued success, because now I feel like because we put a time capsule on it, I do agree with Chester a bit more that moving on from 2010 to now.
Wow, she's evolving quickly.
Well, I mean, once I start to feel like a homophobe and a bigot,
Right.
When he talked about a queer legacy, I was like,
this is controversial, but for me, Fat Kids Hunt has been.
I hate you.
That was going to be mine.
I'm sorry.
The queer, I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm joking with you. No.
I'm still honestly reeling from that title. I haven't gotten over it, and I will watch it.
It's like getting shot in the chest 4 times. Fat teens hunt. It's like, it's like what?
I can't get over it. It's like, honestly, I feel like I have worms in the brain because I can't think right now. I'm like wondering if fat teens can hunt.
Let me tell you
do we get a title that plain in the U.S. ever? Like moving forward?
What would you do?
No.
Should I change my...
But to call someone a fat teen.
Fat? What?
But not just fat, like fat little
kid.
kids. Like, because like adult fat people, you're like, all right. But like to call a person a fat teen.
I mean, calling someone the biggest loser on a show full of big fat people is not nice.
That part.
I mean, I know there's like a double entendre there.
Really that part.
You're calling me, I'm not a loser. Like, it's not very nice. But also British reality is like, they have no standards. That's why I love England so much, because they have, they'll literally parade people around. Well, I mean, we do the same thing, like My 600-Pound Life, which is not my choice.
I live for that show.
And thankfully you do, because some of them might not, Monique. That's the only show. Okay, this is what I will say. That's the only show where we go to a doctor, like routinely on the show, and the doctor's like, "You have to stop," and the person's like, "The doctor said I gotta stop. I guess." I was like, "You're on the show."
No, you know what bothers me about that show? When you have people go on intervention, I'll tell you my issue. And by the way, look how studious I just became. I just totally was like, I'll tell you what bothers me about it. I say this as someone who battles weight things. I mean, nowhere in the same realm, but I eat a lot, whatever. When you have a heroin addict on intervention, You see someone suffering. At the end, the family sits in a big circle. They go, this has to stop, and they send them to rehab. Here you have people who have an addiction to food, like people have an addiction to heroin. They go to the doctor, and then they're like, okay, bye, see you in the drive-thru. Like they're not putting them a little therapy.
Very true.
But lock them in a house. Like put them, I mean, really like you would do for rehab. You have to send people away to like a hospital to learn how to eat properly, because that is like almost impossible. That's where that show for me kind of goes off the rails. And I'm going to say, I think it's irresponsible. Also not my choice.
And like, you're on the show. Like the show isn't my,
well, also
the
they
show
wouldn't
isn't
treat anorexia like that.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't treat other eating disorders
Exactly.
like that. They would treat it more scientifically and with more vulnerability and compassion.
Tenderness. With more tenderness.
With people who are heavier, they lack empathy in those shows, and that's what I can't stand. I do not like. They do not humanize them in the same way, and that pisses me off.
Patrick, what do you like?
watching.
What is your pick?
Okay, so I'll say mine. I'll say mine next.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, maybe it'll be someone else's, but I just thought of mine because I like this. It's the antithesis of all the other shows. I love British Bake Off. For me, it's because it is not about like drama. It is about like cultivating personality in a healthy way. And also like, I love watching people bake, and there's so much joy, and you get the same like experience of like an intense reality show without them being mean to each other. You sell breakthroughs and like breakdowns and stuff. I don't know how they do it. I think it's a genius show.
It's
like,
great.
And it like, I don't watch a ton of reality, but like that show like made me like really like cooking, and it got me involved in things that I like never had been. So that's mine.
Italian.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Is anyone gonna say Keeping Up with the Kardashians just from an influential standpoint?
No, we're not. And nope.
I've never seen an episode of that show.
That's
by the way.
me neither.
That's how.
Me neither.
How have you never
Truthfully-
sat in a waiting room?
No, I don't wait.
My roommate has been watching them.
I don't wait.
My roommate has been watching them, and it's been fun to come out of the room and see season 1 and just see the faces of what they were to who they look like now. I just love it. Like all of their faces are like, ooh, bitch, this is what money does to you. You know?
Yeah, they look like King Tut.
That
I
part.
feel like
Like-
they were like, make me King Tut.
One person shaved down their shoulders.
Embalmed.
I don't know how they did that.
They did what?
They shaved down their shoulders.
Chloe?
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Well, I think it's
How do you-
like
I thought that was just
sounds
like
they
the
shaved it.
Photoshop image. You remember it was the
swore,
Photoshop
like,
image?
You look season 1, and then you look and you go, I swear her shoulders are shaved. But whatever.
Wow.
She
I
looks
want to get
good.
my shoulders shaved.
What money will do, girl, okay?
I mean,
Oh, I want to shave my shoulders now. I need it. I'm running from here to get a shoulder shaving consultation.
Oh,
I
that
need
would be
it.
the tea.
shoulder wax.
Yeah.
Dan, what's yours?
This is not revolutionary or anything, but the one that's given me most pleasure is just Real Housewives of New York. Just consistently, as it's so funny, and the way the characters build over the years. Like, I was thinking of when Sonia went to Bethany, who has like Skinny Girl, and it's like, I have this new brand that I just came up with, Thirsty Girl wine. Like, that's one of the funniest scenes that I've ever seen. Or like when Luann
Thirsty girl.
when Luann like burst out on one of the reunions that oh yeah, for somebody that can't sing, I'm going to be starring on Broadway in Chicago. And then
I
immediately
don't remember what you're talking about.
No,
When
what
Luann said,
she said that she was like, somebody said that she can't sing, you know, on her
yeah,
Friday show.
obviously over and over
And she's
again.
like, oh
yeah.
really? For somebody who can't sing, I'm starring on Broadway in Chicago. And everybody like looks at the camera like, what? And they had to immediately release a retraction like the next day. Due to Luann's busy schedule, she will not be appearing on Broadway.
Girl,
I think then, like, we also have to talk about Atlanta, because Atlanta is one of the housewife locations that basically created so much internet culture that we have now. I'm just like, Atlanta has to be in the conversation. And because it was
Nene Leakes is like every meme.
Nene Leakes and Candy.
Very true.
Like
Candy's the
Candy
favorite.
Burris.
She is actually one of the highest paid.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna originally say Little Women LA and Little Women Atlanta because I love Miss Juicy. Speaking of internet
Miss
culture,
Juicy.
like you want to talk about women who stand for everything.
Talk about a singer. Miss Juicy?
I've met those ladies, and I'm 6'1", and they're 4'2", and there was no tension. We got along great, but I'm not going to do that. I want to have two answers. What I want to say is my favorite reality show. To be fair, it's one of the earliest ones. It's been on forever, so whatever. But is Survivor. And I know that this might seem, I'm just for the listener, I got no reaction when I said that. Literally, I felt my Zoom froze.
Well,
I almost felt my Zoom froze.
Monique, as a Black person, do you watch Survivor?
I did in the first only because they were nude and I was trying to look behind the blur to see a dick. So
I don't know. It might be a cultural thing. I've never gotten into Survivor.
No.
Ever.
I just
And I
like
want you to
the
know
nude
why.
scenes. Like, that was it. You just wanted to see something.
But that was Richard. That was first. I don't know if
They're all naked in it. They're all naked.
I mean, I don't.
Some of them are nauseating because they'll have like their briefs on, but they get like waterlogged. So they just get heavier and heavier as the season continues until they're just like these long briefs. It's horrible. But let me say this about Survivor. And obviously I speak as a white woman. So for example, like CBS has a show, Big Brother, where I actually am enraged because I think they do put like white supremacists in that house who then immediately vote the Black contestants out first. And it actually, I think it's morally just horrible. Survivor is a reflection of the country. Like, it's almost like watching your office politics play out on a show. So they bring all kinds of people. They have queer people, gay people, Black people, I mean, all backgrounds. And watching how people can manipulate. And because I don't ever consider myself a big manipulator, I actually think I'm easily gaslit many times. Like, I kind of, I start to break down. No, I think that I come honest with people. And when I find that that's not happening to me, I feel really hurt by that many times. And Survivor has actually taught me to have a thicker skin and also be a little bit more weary of people, just in social settings and certainly at the workplace. It is, first of all, the most exciting show. My heart races as I watch it. I cannot say enough good things about it. Jeff Probst, do you want to see a good dick? Google Jeff Probst naked, by the way. We're talking, Monique's phone has smoke coming out of it. I've never seen someone Google something so quickly. Probst is packing heat, and it just scratches every itch for me in the realm of what's funny, meaningful. I learn from it. It's exciting, and I really have very strong feelings about the show.
Have you talked to Matt Rogers and Bowen? Have you been on? Yes. Have you been on? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, this is, unfortunately, you hit the wrong podcast with this, because if you were on Las Culturistas, they'd be like, Sandra is queen.
I know. Well, I do their podcast all the time, and I love those boys. And I actually thought that one of you would bring that energy to me.
Not at all.
I was just totally misled.
Gays are not a monolith.
A disappointment here.
You were like, I'm actually out now. This has hit my time, and no Survivor.
I had a hard 5:34 out, so I got to run. No, I've had a wonderful time. But by the way, you should really get into it next season.
So I love Survivor. I've seen seasons, but I will say, watching it continuously, I get so stressed. Like, watching it, it makes me nervous. Like, I get, like, my palms sweat watching them manipulate and stuff. Yeah, I guess I don't like that. But also, like, Matt and Bowen love roller coasters, and we've discussed this. And I'm, like, not a roller coaster girl. Like, I don't like the feel of, like, the terrifyingness. And sometimes in Survivor, it gets a little scary for me.
Oh, my God. It's how I remember that I'm a feeling being. I'm like, I can feel. It's like when Terminator cries a tear.
Yeah.
He's like, I wasn't programmed to cry. That's like me watching Survivor, like, what?
My two shows would be 90 Day Fiance.
Oh, okay.
I really, really enjoy it. Colty is my favorite. Do you know he has an OnlyFans?
Does he?
Gag. Because it's a micro. And I haven't seen it as much, but Love and Hip Hop was my show, girl. Especially like New York and Atlanta back in the day. It was good.
I also would have said Surreal Life, but I think that's before 2010.
Love and Hip Hop.
Sure.
Okay, Stevie and Jocelyn and
Girl,
Mimi.
they made history, bitch.
That was some wild. That was wild for what they were attempting to do. When VH1 really like stuck their foot all the way in that. Okay, I'll hear that.
So we have to let Michelle and Dan go, but
It sounds like I'm getting fired from the podcast. We have to let you go. I'm so sorry. What?
No, we have to to say thank you. We
Thank you.
so loved having you. It was such a treat to talk Survivor finally.
I just can't wait.
On the podcast. What a thrill for all of us. No, but
And I will
it's been
say
so
thank you
fun.
for having us. And
Yeah,
by the way,
thank you.
Dan and I have the podcast Midnight Snack, which everyone should listen to. And if you want to follow me on Instagram at Mishcall for pictures of Ivana Trump eating pasta like an animal and so much more.
I was
And
wondering
with
why you
slightly-
posted it, but I was like, what? Who is this woman? I said, that's not her.
She was
That is
also,
her. That is
No,
me.
it's not you. It's
That's
not
her.
you. It was like, why did
That's
she
not
No.
me.
and no
I-
one
I
was, and
deleted
no
them.
one was around her.
I
So the
know.
pan out of
Yeah.
her like eating and then like just empty
Pure
chairs.
ecstasy.
I don't.
And like the pesto on her lip. I'm like,
I
oh,
mean,
God, she's a
hasn't
monster.
she was married to him? She suffered enough, you guys.
Yeah.
She's horrible. Everyone's like, oh, nice job lifting women up. I'm like, she's a racist piece of shit like her ex-husband.
Yep.
I will post these pictures all day. Boys, I just adore you so much. Thank you for having Monique. I love you.
I
Thank
love
you for having me, by
Michelle.
the way.
I'm about to
Yeah.
go follow you right now.
What a treat.
Will you? I'm
and,
gonna follow you. Oh my
and
God, I'm
Dan,
excited.
what's your IG? Get some gay boys following
Yeah,
you.
please. Dan_Acton, ACTON.
I like
Ooh,
him,
love that.
Jay. He sounds
Ooh,
soft like he'll cuddle
Get you a date. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Monique, I followed you. I love you
y'all.
all.
Bye.
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 This has been so much fun, but it's time to go now. Thanks for tuning in to The Rear View. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or you can watch the show on YouTube. And do us a favor, America. Leave us a nice review for all the work we do. Bye, y'all.
Forever. Dog.
The Rear View has been a joint production between Forever Dog and Grindr. Hosted by Patrick Rogers, Monique Hart, Chester Lockhart, Jay Jurden, and special guests Michelle Collins and Dan Acton. Music by Gabe Lopez, engineered and edited by Will Pitts, executive produced by Joe Celio, Anna Rubinova, Patrick Rogers, Evan Starrett, Brett Boehm, and Alex Ramsey.